Hi, it's Fiona Brooker and welcome to another Ancestry Unpacked tip session. So we're working on the Memories in Time project tree at the moment, and in particular we're focused on the Watson family that we're just trying to add some more details to prove the links that I had built in there originally, and also just to support the tree a little bit better. So let's look at one of the children in the family, who is Lancelot Watson. You'll see his profile here, and I'm just going to go and search on Ancestry for him. Now, the first thing that I always check when I come into the search screen is, am I focusing in the right place? This focus area here is New Zealand, which is great for Lancelot. It's exactly where I need to be. But if I had been searching in New Zealand and then I go to do something in England, the focus may change. So you may need to check that you are searching the right country or the right focus, or you may just want to search all collections and see everything that's available. So just check that you're in the right place, because that will limit down your results to the area of the world that you want to be searching in. So I'm just going to pick my New Zealand again. Now, there are a couple of ways that we can filter these down to a lesser amount of results, because at the moment I'm sitting on 924 results. And that's quite a lot to search through and work through. So we can use these filters down the left-hand side here. The first is filtering by collection group. So we're looking at voter lists, we're looking at birth, marriage and death records, etc. The next one is to do it by record location. So I know that New Zealand is in Oceania, so I can go to Oceania. Then I have results in New Zealand and results in Australia. So I'm going to go and choose the New Zealand ones. Then I can actually break New Zealand up into the different regions of New Zealand. So if I know I'm looking for a person and they are based in the Wellington region, then I may as well go and look sort of in the North Island rather than the South Island. If I'm looking for someone in Canterbury, I can limit it by Canterbury. But the other thing this gives you an idea of is where in New Zealand your Lancelot or your person that you're looking for may be, because it may be that you actually only get one result in one area, 50 in another area as such. So I'm quite evenly spread around some of the main areas, Auckland and Canterbury, Wellington up here, Southland and Otago. A little bit skewed towards the South Island, but not hugely. So nothing really jumping out at me and going, he stayed his whole life in one particular area. Anytime you go into any of these, so if I choose Canterbury, for example, it will break it down even further and even further again. And then these X's are like back steps. So if I click on the X, I'll go back up to the Canterbury list. If I click on the X, I'll go back up to the New Zealand list, and so on with those record collections. And you can jump them. You don't have to go back one by one. You can jump right back up. So we've got the whole lot again. I can do a similar thing with record date. If I know my person only lived in the 1800s or whatever time range, I can only have the records for that period come up, which is really, really useful. Likewise, if I know I'm looking for a record in the 1880s, let's limit it down to showing me the records in the 1880s, because now all of a sudden I'm dealing with 10 records, not 924 records. So using those filters to reduce what you're getting shown and only get shown the records for that period of time can be a really useful way of managing how many results that you're getting shown. So you're only getting shown the records that you want in the time period that you want. And again, you can see I can actually even jump down to a specific year as well. And with the X's, I can get myself back out of that search as well. But another way that I like to search by when I'm doing some really good search results and looking for things is to browse by collection. And this then shows me what is available in the different collections that are linked potentially to Lancelot Watson or people that have similar names. So I can look and see that in the census and voter lists, we've got the New Zealand electoral rolls collections. For those that didn't know, New Zealand doesn't have any publicly available censuses, not in the same way that you would find in the UK, the US, Canada, for example. We have some little scatterings of very old ones, but not a lot in there. So our whole census and voter list is all electoral rolls, and I can tell because there's 182 in here and 182 in here. Then we've got birth, marriage, and death. We've got military, and I can go down those different groupings. So I can see what records there may be available. So let's say I'm looking for a death for him. So again, here are the collections from the New Zealand area that have deaths for potentially Lancelot Watson in them. So I've got a couple of collections that I'm possibly going to be looking at. I've got cemetery records. I've got the Find a Grave, a global gravestone photograph index, a death index, and the 2 death indexes, one from the microfiche, one from New Zealand BDMs online. So giving me slightly different information again. So I may want to check both of those. So what I tend to do when I've got lots of collections that I might want to look at, I tend to right click and open them in a new tab. And that way I end up with them all open at once and don't have to jump between them. And yes, I like tabs. So if I look at the first one, I've got a Lancelot born around 1866, dies in 1951. Well, my guy was born about 1865, so this is looking quite interesting. I might be interested in this. What it tells me is because it came from the historical death index, it gives me an age at death, which is where the birth date has been calculated. So this tells me he was 85 when he died, hence why he was around the birth year of 1866. If I look at the other index, again, I get that 1951 one that I was just looking at, but this time I get told for the 1951 death that it was registered in the January, February, March quarter and likely registered in Oxford, Canterbury. So that's good. I'm starting to get a feel for the Canterbury again. I've got a 1951 here as well, so there's could be a couple of Lancelots floating around that I haven't picked up on yet. So by having all of these open, I can sort of go between them and compare what I'm getting. Oh, here's that 1951 death again, Oxford, that matches to the Oxford region I had before. I can see that I've got Lancelot born around 1865, again dying in 1950. I've also got one born about 1867, dying in Kirwee. Now these two areas are both in the Canterbury region, so both well worth another look at. And let's just check our Find a Grave as well. We've got a Find a Grave record for that 1951 one, and we've got a Find a Grave for the 1899 one as well. So I'm going to be comparing all of those, working out which one is my Lancelot. Obviously, in a perfect world, I would be buying a death certificate as well, but this is a research tree that I have built to share records I have found in secondhand shops, not necessarily go off and purchase new records for them. So I'm off to investigate Lancelot in a bit more detail, hopefully using some of those filters, the browse collection, the opening the multiple tabs will allow you to be able to compare and work out which records you want to be able to add to your tree.